Hi everyone, I'm doing my John Maxwell, and today we're on to day 4, leaders position people where everybody wins. So this basically is talking about how Jesus spent his time with his 12 disciples. He didn't spend a lot of time with the crowds. He was always with his disciples, teaching them, and they learned from him, from being around him. The same way as we learn from being with our families, we learn social skills from being in a workplace. I hate this thing about working at home, especially now that everything is opened and everything's ready. It's really, for me, it's a burden. I don't like it. But unfortunately, if I get a job where it's a hybrid role, I'm going to have to take it. I keep telling the recruiters I'm on my own. I want an in-office position, and they keep coming to me with remote work. So it's very frustrating when you're in that position. But I'm hoping that I will get an in-office role where I can be with people, because you learn from each other. You learn from being with people. You develop the social skills. You are in people's company. When you're just sitting at home, what do you learn other than reading books and watching TV? I mean, it's not a life for anybody. And that's the same of performances. That's why I contacted so many restaurants, so many places asking, do you have opportunities where I can play, where there's a live audience? Nobody's willing to help me. So anyway, I carry on because that's all I can do. And it's a frustrating experience. I have not enjoyed Canada at all. It's like with these political parties. Every second day they're sending you emails asking for donations. What are they actually doing for me? Nothing. Whether it's the Conservatives or the Liberals or the NDP, every day I open my email and every day there's an email saying, I need a donation. What are you actually doing for me? Are you doing anything for me? Are you helping me to get a job? Are you talking to people about the fact that I'm a member of the Conservative Party? Or you just keep sending me emails asking me for donations? I don't know how many times I have to tell these people that I'm not working and that I do not have money to give them. It's worse than Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, they used to come door to door, come to the houses also, looking for donations. And I'm sick of it. If I was earning better, I would be able to give more. I gave them $20, the Conservatives. I'm not even earning $20 a month. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know who is surrounding these people and who's managing their campaigns, but it's ridiculous. It's like a third world country living in Canada. So John Maxwell has given us some points to look at here. The first is the influence test. So potential leaders are the ones we spend time with. They have to have a level of influence on the community, on the people around them. Even on social media, we have influence. If we're using social media, if we're commenting, if we're retweeting for people, that's influence. Because people do pay attention to what we're saying, what we're putting out there, the messages that are out there. It matters. The second point is the relationship test. So again, these are the brethren of Jesus, the brothers and sisters that Jesus chose to be with him. The same way as when people have parties or gatherings or events, people are chosen of who's invited. And some of us are left out. We are set aside because they don't want us. They're embarrassed to have us there because we don't have good jobs. We don't have cars. We need people to pick us up when we get to the GO station. It's too much of a burden on them. So they'd rather not have us around them. And also, we're not grateful for everything that has been done for us. Because if we were, life would have worked out for us, isn't it? We would have had jobs and cars and houses and big salaries like they had. And all our hard work, what did we get from it? Nothing. So why would people want us there? But they fail to look at the circumstances of this country. They fail to acknowledge the discrimination of Canada, the apartheid that Canada is built on. And it's historical. It goes right down into the roots, just like how they covered up all the children that they abused in the Catholic Church and all the graves. They found graves here in Canada of children that they murdered. So it's in their blood. That's what they do. They cover it up. They don't expose it. Now, what happened at Credit Suisse and TD and all that got exposed. But the exposure came because of the banks having offices in South Africa and other places. Because it doesn't matter to them if they make those banks look bad. Then all the corruption here also got exposed through the journalists. So it's good. The third is the credibility test. So when we talk about good reputation, once the bank started coming after me and telling me, after they tell me, like they'll tell me, go and report this, you have to report this to the police. Then I report it and they're like, oh no, we're not willing to confirm it. So if you're going to go after my reputation, don't expect me not to go after your reputation. Because I also have to earn a living and you're making millions. I'm not making millions. I'm not working in my field. I'm not singing. I'm not traveling the world holding concerts. I'm not working in HR or using my degrees and my designations. You're doing nothing to help me. I helped you, and what did I get in return? I got called to the police station. So if you're going to go after my credibility and try to make it seem like I'm a child and I can't make good decisions and I'm stupid because I came here from Africa, don't expect me to sit back and say, oh, that's fine, I'm going to turn the other cheek. Because people like me don't. And especially when you're an activist, you don't do that because there's too much at stake. So if you want to value your credibility, value my credibility. It's give and take. The fourth point is the spiritual test. So our spiritual convictions shape us. And that's true of the people that you select as well. When I worked at Teleperformance, there were a lot of Muslim women there, and they talked openly to us about how the man is important in the relationship and not the woman, and how the men have a right to say, oh, look at you, you fat, look at you, what you look like, go and put some makeup on. That no respect for the woman. And they confirmed it, that a man can come home and just say, I divorce you 3 times to a woman, and that's it, the woman must go. And the women, the Muslim women, they don't blame the man, they blame the woman. They'll say, yes, it was her fault, she created it. I used to just look at them. I never used to say anything because I was, first of all, on minimum wage, and second of all, they were the supervisors. So I used to just look at them and I used to tell them, man, you people accept this. You educated women with your MBAs and everything, and you're boasting about it. To me, it's disgusting. I have no time for it. I couldn't even get Good Fridays off to go for the Mass. I couldn't. And there were other women there, they used to say, but that's your religion, why can't they do it? They're supposed to give you, it's an accommodation. I said, oh, I asked them. They said, no, it's a business need. And they're like, tell them we'll swap with you. I said, I told them, they're not interested. And this didn't happen once. It happened over and over and over. And if you take it to the church, what does the church do? Nothing. The church supports the Muslims. So what kind of church are we building? I've had enough of it. The fourth point is the administrative test. So when the men were chosen to serve and the women, they wanted what was best for the people. Scripture isn't explicit, but it seems that the passage and the 7 were given very little direction about how the food would be distributed to people. So they chose these men specifically to distribute food to the widows, but they didn't tell them specifically how to do it because they trusted their judgment. And so it's the same thing with us in the church. If our judgment is not trusted, and if we can't be trusted to do the right thing, then why put us in positions of leadership? Why put us in positions of responsibility? If you want to control everything and tell us everything, what we should do, how we should talk, what we should say. Just do it yourselves. And then nobody will come to the church and nobody will help you. And the same with your organizations. If you're not going to treat us like educated people and people who can bring something to the table, just don't bother. Because really and truly, to treat us like children, LinkedIn is also putting puzzles now on the profiles. I mean, what, are we children? We can work things out on our own if we have the skills and we have the right support. How many years do you have to keep working at minimum wage? How many years do you have to keep slogging and living off bankruptcy? And like me, that's what I'm doing. How many years does it have to go on before you actually get a break in this country? And then the last point is having faith. So faith is not enough. People say, oh, have faith, have faith. But if the situation is created so that you never come up, so that you always are in minimum wage, you never get promotions, you never get the good paid jobs, then how are you supposed to come up? This country is built on discrimination. All their mosaic, with the way they set it up, it's discrimination. That's what it is. You take the best people, you ruin their lives, you ruin their health, and then you say, oh no, we can't accommodate you. If you don't want the job, then go. How many more people have to get hurt before things actually change? And before, we have no middle class in Canada. This is a welfare state. And it's an awful way to live. How many thousands of applications do you have to send out? How many years has to go by before somebody actually acknowledges your credibility and says, yes, you can get into a good paid job and they're going to help you and support you? It's really, what's happening in this country is really, really awful. It's really awful. When I came to Canada, I did not expect this. I did not expect to come here, have to retrain, requalify, get the good skills, get the education, have a good attitude, help in the church, help in the community, help the political parties, volunteer, do everything right and get a rotten outcome. While the people at the top are living large and they're getting away with murder. And I say that literally because there were murders by the Credit Suisse bankers. They use prostitutions and all that. Chandaganya used to tell me, used to be very open about it and say, I don't want you working here late at night. He said, I don't want you working overnight and I don't want you by 5 o'clock you must go home. I say, why? I don't mind if I have to stay a little longer. He say, no, there's corruption in the bank and some of the bankers, they bring prostitutes here onto the floor. And even when we try to stop it, we can't. So what kind of rubbish is that? At least he told me. They used to make sure at TD. They used to tell me, as soon as it's 5 o'clock, you go. I never stayed 1 minute after 5. And there was no working overnight. There was no going in at the weekend. Not like Credit Suisse. I never did any binding. They needed binding, they did it themselves or they sent it out. I mean, what kind of rubbish country are they building? Really and truly, this John Maxwell and all that, if people are not open to what the principles are and the foundations, why? Because they like it the way it is. They like to see people going into poverty. They like to see 10 cities coming up. They like to see the little carts selling drugs on the side of the road like popcorn. They like it. If they didn't like it, they would actually change and put people like me into positions of responsibility, make sure that we got paid properly, make sure that we were using our education, give us opportunities to travel, give us opportunities to use our skills, but they're not. And you do one little thing wrong and you get 10 emails about it. Meanwhile, other people can rob the bank, literally, and what happens to them? Nothing. I'm sick of it. Things should have changed a long time ago. It's been going on since the day I came into this country, and it's not getting any better. That's why I keep saying if they don't want me here, they should relocate me. They should send me to work somewhere where I can actually take charge of things, use my skills, use my education, because I'm more than competent and I'm more than capable, and people like me are sick of it. We've had enough of it. I emailed the Conservatives today as well. They sent me an email saying your contribution is zero. I found that email where I donated the $20 and I copied it and pasted it. I sent it to them and I forwarded that email to them. This is what we're dealing with in Canada. And it's becoming the same all over. I'm sick of it. And I'll stand by Israel. I don't care who says what. I'll stand by Israel. Because I want to party. I want to have the lifestyle I had in Zimbabwe. I want to be able to hire a maid to come in and help me to clean when I'm sick. I want to have a car. I want to travel. I want to do all those things. And if I had the opportunity to do what Elvis Presley did, I would take it and I would run with it. I would tour all over the world. I would sing. I would do whatever I could. Why not? Who doesn't want those private planes and a nice house to live in with a cook and lots of land and horses? Who doesn't want that? Do you think there's anybody that doesn't want it? Do you think that I like living broke? That I like living off my overdraft? I'm glad I have it because if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to survive. But do you think I went to university and studied and did all these things and mentored people and welcomed people to Canada and helped them to integrate because I wanted to stay poor? You must be kidding. I have had enough of it. I'm sick of it. I am sick and tired of it. Oh, work at home. Work at home and do what? Talk to the walls. I'm really tired of it. Really, this country needs to wake up. It really needs to wake up. Because people like me have had enough. And if the Conservatives keep sending me emails asking me for donations, I'm just going to leave the party. Because I told them so many times, I am not working. Please do not send me these emails asking for a donation. Every day there's an email asking for a donation. If it's not the Conservatives, it's the Liberals. If it's not the Liberals, it's the NDP. If it's not the NDP, it's the church. I'm not working. I'm not even going to go to church anymore. Because I've had enough of it. I can't even afford to buy my own clothes and food and pay my rent, and people are asking me for money when there's no jobs here. And I can't get into an executive assistant job. I can't get into those HR jobs and those jobs paying $100,000. That's what I want. I want those jobs paying $100,000 a year. That's why I studied and went to school. That's why I took this John Maxwell. I didn't take it so that I could just be a freeloader of society and sit at home and do nothing. I'm sick of it. And anyone that tells you I'm not capable of holding a job, they're worried about me, they need to get some help. Because anybody that's worked with me knows I'm more than capable, I'm more than competent, and I deserve to get a break a long time ago. A long, long time ago. I came to this country with very, very high expectations, and I've been nothing but disappointed in it. Oh yeah, there's a minimum wage job. Let's call Belinda. So when do I get those jobs paying $100,000 a year? I'm not getting any younger, and I'm tired of it. They take all my ideas, all my whatever I suggest, and they implement it, and it benefits everybody else. And what about me? What about my life? So everyone else must enjoy family gatherings, my mother being there, my sister, my brother, and I must sit at home and just wait until it's convenient for everybody to come and visit me if and when they have the time. I'm tired of being taken advantage of and being exploited. It's time that things change for people like me. I've had enough of it. You take my John Maxwell and use it in your workplace. Sure, use it. But think about me. Think about my life. Think about what I want as well. Don't be selfish and only do it for you. Everybody's supposed to win, apparently, in Canada. Well, who's winning? Not me. It's time that people woke up in this country. And the question for reflection is very good. Have you positioned yourself and your people for maximum effectiveness? Clearly they haven't. I have not even volunteered for HRPA since the last 5 years. I haven't. So who's volunteering there? Who's getting those opportunities to work on teams, to grow, to be at the events? Not me. And I did a lot to get HRPA going. I did a lot to help them. So I also want those benefits to come in for me. I also want to be able to go and have my eyes checked every year, get new glasses if I need them without having to worry about the money. I'm tired of it. I've done more than my fair share and I've earned it. And if they don't want me here, they should be helping me to get back to England or to go to America or somewhere else, instead of keeping me in minimum wage and putting my name forward for minimum wage, because I do not want minimum wage. I want those jobs paying $100,000 a year. That's what I've always wanted. I want the money. I want to be able to be financially independent, and I want to be like those women that walked with Jesus and provided for him. I don't want to keep on having to ask people to contribute to my John Maxwell and not being able to pay my rent, not being able to travel, not being able to own my private jets. I want all those things. I've worked for them. And if you ask me, who do you think I am? Who do you think you are? If you could do it, why can't I do it? If you could own a property and you could buy your properties in Connecticut and San Francisco and California and everywhere else, why can't I do it? Am I less worthy than you? Am I scum of the earth? Am I somebody that is undeserving of the good things in life? If you want those things for yourself, why can't I have them too?